What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to you with a quick breakdown. I'm gonna talk about Westbrook and Steph Curry and Chris Paul since he was voted number 3, and I'm gonna go on a rant about Chris Paul. First, I want to talk about Westbrook. He brings the energy, the tenacity, and the motor, and he just brings so much intangibles to the game that Ezekiel has picked him number 1 over Steph Curry barely. But I can see why, because he brings so much competitiveness and so much complete all around game to the game in general, and he just brings so much energy. He gets the crowd going, he gets his players going, he brings so much excitement to the game that it's hard not to pick Russell Westbrook. And then you see him putting all these triple doubles up. You see him carrying the OKC Thunder to the 8th seed, and you can see that why Westbrook is a top 10 player. I don't think top 5. I think he definitely is top in the top 10, but he really has went crazy after these last 2 months, averaging triple doubles, putting up 40 points, 30 points. But like I said, he just doesn't do it efficient enough for me to jump on a bandwagon of Russell Westbrook. But I will give him enough credit. He is one of the best players in the league. And that's something that nobody can take away from him. If anybody say he's not top 10 or even in the top 7, then they probably just don't know basketball at all. But I'm going to break down my opinion and try to be even about the argument, because this argument is really a pick 'em. You can pick Chris Paul, Steph Curry, John Wall, Kyrie Irving. You can't go wrong with any point guard, especially in they all in their mid-20s. You really can't go wrong who you pick. It's just how you want to build your team is how you gonna pick. So Westbrook, we're gonna go through him first. 27.3 points, 4.3 turnovers, 2.2 steals, 8.7 assists, 7.1 rebounds, 84 from the free throw, 30% from three, 42% from the field. You see he does in it all. He's taking 21 shots a game, which is the most of all point guards at 21. That's a whole lot of shots to take, especially if you knock him down at 42%. And he's taking 4 threes a game, and he's shooting 30% from three, and he's averaging 4.3 turnovers. And that's what's really killing him for me. It's just that he's doing a whole lot, but it comes with a high price. And that's why I just can't pick him as my point guard, because I don't want to risk losing the game because of how he played. And Steph Curry's still winning games, and he won several games in the past just because he's clutch and he take care of the ball. But back in the day, Steph Curry used to be a turnover machine. This season, he was averaging less than 3 turnovers a game in the beginning of the season, but he ended up getting more when Klay Thompson got injured. Another thing is, I'm about to read his stats: 23.7 points, 3 turnovers, 2.2 steals, 2.1, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 90 from the free throw line, 42 from the 3-point line, and 48% from the field on 17 shots a game. So I'm definitely going to go with Steph Curry, because the efficiency just is amazing to shoot 48% from the field off mostly jump shots, and to shoot 42% from three when you're shooting 8 a game. That's ridiculous amount of efficiency, especially with the amount of shots he's taking. Westbrook taking almost 4 more shots than him, and he's horribly knocking them down and below 45%. If you're a volume shooter, you want to knock down at least 45% of your shots like James Harden doing if you're going to take a lot of shots. But it's a pick 'em. I go with Steph Curry because of efficiency, and he can do all around game. And another thing I want to say, like I said in the breakdown video, Westbrook gonna average more assists and things because he plays more minutes. And on top of that, he has the ball in his hand the most out of everybody in the NBA. His assists are higher because the ball is always in his hands. He always playmaking. He always coming up the ball with the ball. He always making all the decisions for the team. They do everything by Westbrook. So with that being said, he should have more assists. He should have more rebounds when he's playing more minutes. And he got the highest usage rate in almost in NBA history. So you gonna have a lot of inflated stats when you're playing that many minutes and the ball is that much in your hand. And he's not playing without Serge Ibaka or Kevin Durant. So it even falls even harder on him to do everything now. And that's why you gotta give him credit as one of the top 3 point guards in the game, because they still got a chance to make the playoffs, and with 2 of the 2 best players missing out of the game. Another thing I want to talk about is a quick rant about my guy Chris Paul. He was picked number 3. Y'all already know he the best point guard, but I just want to talk about a thing that I seen a lot of OKC fans and a lot of, well, this is mostly from the OKC fans. They are Westbrook. They biased towards Russell Westbrook because he's their player. They're going to fight for him. They're going to argue for him. But I just want to go on this little rant because Chris Paul is taking number 3. Chris Paul is obviously one of the best point guards in the league, and the coaches and the executives show that even though he's 30 years old, he's still among the best. He's still averaging 10 assists, 18 points with less than only 2.3 turnovers a game, and he's still getting 2 steals a game, and he's getting 4 rebounds. So he's doing the same thing Steph Curry doing. He's just not taking as many shots because he's shooting 47% from the field and 40% from the three-point line. So he's doing similar things to Steph Curry. He just not taking as much shots, but he's getting way more assists. And he's not turning the ball over nearly as bad as Westbrook and Steph Curry is. And he's generating a lot of points for his teammates. So anybody he's scoring 18 and he's making all these passes to get his teammates involved. He generates the most points in the NBA just off his play style. And their biggest argument is that Chris Paul hasn't did nothing in the playoffs. That's one of the dumbest arguments I ever seen. Because when I seen they list, they all had point guards that did nothing in the playoffs either. John Wall, what has he done in the playoffs? Got to the second round. That's what Chris Paul did. He only made it to the playoffs twice if you count this year. And he's not going past the second round this year either. Then they want to bring in Mike Conley. He only got to the third round because Westbrook was injured. Everybody know that. And when he got to the Western Conference Finals, what did he do? He got swept 4-0, so he didn't do that much. Damian Lillard is another guy. He only got to the second round, and what he got to do? They got beat 4-1. He hasn't got past the second round. Next, we're going to talk about Ty Lawson. He hasn't got to the second round. Jeff Teague, he never got to the finals either. Any point guard you name besides even Steph Curry, to throw that out, he only got to the second round once. Last year, he got bounced out of the first round by Chris Paul. So what is you guys talking about that Chris Paul hasn't did nothing in the playoffs? Name me one point guard besides Tony Parker and Russell Westbrook that made it to the finals. And on top of that, the last couple of championship teams, even in the 10 years ago, haven't really had top 5 point guards. They had Mario Chalmers, Derek Fisher, a declining Jason Kidd. These point guards that's winning the championship aren't franchise point guards. Kyrie Irving hasn't even got to the playoffs. Every point guard you name hasn't really had no playoff success. So I don't know where y'all came up with that argument. Y'all just trying to hate on Chris Paul on that one because y'all argument don't even make sense because all the point guards haven't did nothing in the league, just like Chris Paul haven't did nothing in the playoffs. So any point guard you name besides Tony Parker and Westbrook, only ones that made it to the finals that's franchise type point guards, and Tony Parker has declined this year because he's injured. So I don't know where y'all top 5 point guards going. I just think Chris Paul is one of the most hated players in the NBA because everybody always talking about him. ESPN had him as the second best player coming into the league, and he always number 3 under Kevin Durant and LeBron. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. And you look at his stats, he's more efficient than Steph Curry with the passing, and he's close to the efficiency. And that's why the executives put him number 3 because of his knee and because of his age. But if he was 25 years old, I would still pick Chris Paul as my franchise player point guard. And on top of that, ain't too many franchise point guards winning championships besides Tony Parker. So if you just building a team around a point guard and his team, and the last thing I want to say is not about the player. Michael Jordan would have easily been the best player in the NBA history, but even back then, he barely made the playoffs. And when he made the playoffs, he never got to the finals until he started getting Scotty in them. LeBron, he's put up 27, 7, and 7 in his second year, and he didn't even make the playoffs that year. It's not about you. It's about the team. LeBron still needed Mo Williams. He still needed Antoine Jameson. He still needed all these players to help him out, to help him get to the playoffs, to help him get to the finals. Because he struggled to get to the playoffs. When he started getting more talent, that's when he started getting the #1 seed in the NBA, the #1 record in the NBA, because he had more talent. Chris Paul has the worst talent out of both of them teams. OKC is better talented, and Golden State is the better talented team. And John Wall has a similar thing. He has a worse talent, so you don't expect him to go to the finals because he's gonna literally have to average like 30 and 15 assists just to get out to the finals. He's gonna have to do like LeBron did against Detroit and just take over and force his way to the finals. And he still went there and got swept. is a team sport. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to check out my other video. Like this video, like my other video, subscribe. Also, hope you guys enjoy today and hope you